Welcome to Make It Your Business, the podcast. Get the advice you need to grow your business by getting guidance from industry experts and interviews with successful small business owners. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe.
Hey, how are you?
Yeah, no, all good.
Good, I've just choked on my lunch. So, yeah. Ready to go. So, interesting one. Why do small businesses fail?
You asking me?
Yeah, I mean, it's a question on lots of people's minds.
Yeah.
I think in this day and age, entrepreneur is a cool word. People want to own a business. They see potential freedom,
Yeah.
especially sort of post-COVID. Lots of people are oriented towards digital, but also bricks and mortar,
Yeah.
service-based. You know, fear is one of the main things that stops us from doing things. So
Yeah.
I thought if we could discuss why small businesses fail,
Yep.
then that may help some people sort of circumnavigate some of those pitfalls, maybe.
Okay. Cool.
It's a very complex subject. It's a very complex. I think we can only speak from truths.
Yep.
So, failing small businesses.
Yeah, just having a quick look. So, according to research by FundSquire, a global startup funding network, 20% of small businesses in the UK fail in the first year, and around 60% of small businesses fail within the first 3 years.
It's hard, isn't it?
So, yeah, that's higher than I thought, to be fair. I think a lot of people don't understand what's involved. You know, when you start a business, you know, it's not just doing whatever it is everything else that goes with it. You know, whether it's, you know, accounting or getting the sales and the customers or, you know, managing of staff, you know, there's like so many aspects to think about. And, you know, when you first come up with your concept, your idea of what your business is going to be about, like these things don't really come into your head. You just think about, you know, what it is you're doing and, you know,
Sold yourself on the dream.
yeah. So, you know, sometimes it's quite good, you know, before you go into business, sort of taking an outside, you know, taking a step back, like looking at the bigger picture.
It's definitely harder than people realise.
Yeah.
I think the good news is, like anything you do for the first time, riding a bike, first time you do a new task at work, it's hard. And the more you do it, the less hard it is. You know, you become good at it, or at least used to that process. And again, we're big advocates of productivity management, so there's lots of things you can do to take a 10-hour task and make it 1 hour. But I think you're right. I think people do underestimate. I mean, from my experience, I remember when I was very young, I wanted to borrow some money. So the bank asked you to put a business plan together.
No.
And I think at the time, I just thought it was really quite frustrating. They didn't believe in what I told them, how I wanted to do it. But in hindsight, now looking back, I think you're absolutely right. What's popped into my head is, yeah, the purpose of a business plan is to actually almost list out the technical parts where they go, oh, you know, we want a SWOT analysis, you know, of like weaknesses and opportunities. But yeah, on a fundamental basic level, it does provide you with a series of tasks, jobs that you need to complete in order to conduct that task. So I do believe you're right. One of the reasons would be underestimating how much work it takes.
Would you say that starting a business from scratch is the hardest slog of getting a business going?
Absolutely. Okay, so we're going to go sideways here slightly and just touch on acquisition. Okay, so I've started several businesses.
Yep.
But in the last few years, I've actually taken to buying a business and then growing it.
Okay.
You know, yes, the 0 to 100,000 is harder than 1 million to 5 million.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. Anyone who's done it will tell you starting from scratch, super hard. So, you know, if you were approaching this as, I want to own a business, I want to, you know, and that's the only purpose, then I would implore you to look at acquiring a business, buying an existing business, if you've got the capital, and taking that that's already been through the pitfalls and the ups and downs and growing that's a lot quicker. But this isn't opportunity that everyone's got. I certainly didn't.
Yeah.
When I've started my businesses, I had no cash. We're talking bootstrapping. Now, what's interesting, as I say, is it becomes complex because each business is very individual.
Yeah.
So I can only talk about my individual aspects. So the first one is a bit of a buzzword at the moment, side hustle.
Okay.
Okay. I can't even remember what the word was. It certainly wasn't side hustle. Maybe it was grind. I can't remember. But my first business, I started while I was still doing another job.
No.
That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you do a job that you're not paid for an extended period of time?
No.
You have to do it in your free time.
Yeah.
At least set the boundaries up.
Yeah.
Even now, like I say, we acquired a struggling business that's doing okay now, but contextual reality check, we've not earned anything from that business for, it's month 9 now.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not looking to take anything out. We're just looking for it to use its cash to grow.
No.
Now, in a fortunate position that we allow that to happen. Imagine you've got to feed the kids or just yourself. Imagine you're still living at home with mum and dad just on noodles. It's a lot easier than if you've got responsibilities. I get that. So, yeah, whether it's underestimating, capital's a big one.
Yep.
I've seen both sides. I've seen people burn money,
Yep.
too much money for them,
Yep.
bank loan, friends, family.
When you start a business, a lot of businesses require that initial funding, don't they? So you've got to borrow money a lot of the time to get to, the first stepping stone almost.
Okay, so again, because we can't be specific about the type, there are ways. Okay, so I'll give you an example. Let's start with something very simple. Let's say you are going to sell iPhone cases online.
Yep.
Theoretically, with the correct plan, you could buy those cases on a credit card and sell them before the credit card payment's due.
Yep.
So there are ways you can cash flow a business by borrowing money in these mechanisms.
No.
We haven't really spoken yet on this podcast about sort of company structures.
Yeah.
Anything that has the potential of a big upside or a big downside, I would always implore people to set it up as a limited company.
Okay.
So you've got limited liability.
Yep.
The downside of that is the ability for you to borrow capital in those first years. Super hard.
No. You've almost got to do it personally and then put it into the business.
Well, I can't recommend that for people.
No.
But no, I was listening to a podcast the other day that talked about, actually it was acquisitions. And this person was talking about buying a business. Oh, you can do this and do this. Great. I think the one fundamental thing that he forgot was, and you must know how to run a business. I would hate for somebody to go and borrow some money to start or acquire a business and then lose it all because they didn't have the necessary skills to run the business.
But a lot of the time when you're starting a new business and say, for example, you're going to be manufacturing something or, you need that initial funding to buy the equipment or, buy the machines or...
Well, again, in this day and age, I'm not so sure what... I don't... If you're looking at micro... Okay, we're going to a business where you require big capital to put machinery in place.
Yep.
Very different cup of tea.
Yeah.
You can't necessarily come off the bat and say, right, I need £1 million to set a factory up.
Yep.
Do you need to set that factory up? There's plenty of wholesalers out there that will make anything you want.
Yeah.
You can do a design.
Yep.
You can go, there's like India Mart, you can go to India, there's Alibaba, there's a number of them. Just Google it, you'll find, manufacturers, you can send them a sketch, and you can get samples for pennies.
Yeah.
They have the machinery,
Yeah.
or probably have the manufacturing expertise.
Yeah.
So I think we're very fortunate. This period in time is actually very low friction to start a business.
Yeah.
I mean, we've all seen these ones where they can design some T-shirts and then you host it and then they're print on demand.
Yep.
That was impossible even 7-8 years ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, it does depend on business type, but in general, going back to what you first said, why do businesses fail? They run out of money. So, and that's for two reasons. They either underestimate, they're not planned,
Yep.
very common, or they overspend.
Yep.
The third caveat, okay, this is a tricky one to explain, and will seem... Okay, I'll just say it. People don't charge enough. Okay, so you are a drain cleaner. You earn £15 an hour. You decide you're going to go become you're going to work for yourself. So you go, okay, I want £15 an hour. I need to run a van. I need to run this. Right, so I need to charge £25 an hour. My old boss used to charge £50. I'll undercut him and get the work. What you don't realise is the other expenses and the pitfalls and the problems. You know, you have to have buffer money. When people talk about margins,
Yeah.
let's move software to one side. Completely different game changer. You know, that's just... if you're in software, switch off this podcast. This isn't for you. We're talking about, you know, very standard businesses where you're making a fixed percentage. Okay, so one of the businesses we acquired, his problem was he charged a set hourly rate, and I think he had 20% margin on his materials.
Okay.
And he consistently losing money. But he couldn't get his mentality around the fact that 20% was what we call clean in his mind, but it wasn't. He was like, oh, that cost me £1 and he charged £1.20.
No.
But his hourly labour rate should have covered all his expense costs of his men.
Yeah.
Didn't.
Okay.
Because he didn't take into account that. He didn't take into account that he had to pay the holidays, national insurance,
Yeah.
sick pay, And his material content, you know, it was about £100 worth of stuff making 20.
No.
But it only took one mistake, one guy to drop something, them to miscalculate the delivery cost of an item, and that £20 gone.
No.
And as human beings, they happen all the time.
Yeah.
You know, it's very hard to actually exactly equate. Even clothing manufacturers, there will be clothing they're not made effectively, lost in the post.
Yeah.
You have to build in these buffers for the eventualities that will happen. It's not if, it's when.
Yeah.
And that's really hard for people to compute because they know, well, I want to earn £200 a day. Technically, you need to make £250 a day and put that £50 aside for, oh, look, you've broke your leg.
Yeah.
You're out. And you can circumvent that with insurance.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? I know.
Yeah. I know a lot of small business owners try and, you know, be the most affordable of what they are. And they think, you know, obviously by reducing the prices to as low as possible, then they're going to get more customers. And that's not always the case. Like we've seen it before in the marketing company.
No.
That, you know, like we had a client, we've actually pushed the prices up a little bit, and by doing so, strangely enough, we gained more custom for that client. There were a few other metrics involved as well.
Yeah, it gives you profit to spend on providing a better service.
Yeah.
So even though I'm getting clean, it's not clean. You go, oh, we made an extra £100, we're going to spend 80 of that,
Yeah.
excel in our service, and potentially make more profit.
Yeah.
But you're right, that's genuinely the first mindset people go in, I will be the cheap. Who wants to be the cheapest?
No.
I'm not going, oh, I can't wait this year. I hope it goes well. I'm going to buy the cheapest car I can.
Yeah.
I'm going to buy the cheapest clothes.
Well, you've got a business to make money, haven't you? And that's what the cash cow is. And, you know, if you're not using it to that potential, you know, then is it worth having a business? You know,
That's the truth. There are a lot of ones and twos, I call them, that they've essentially bought themselves a job.
No.
You know, if somebody is running a business that is just paying them and only just making it through, you've bought yourself a job. You know, a lot of extra responsibilities. Now, don't get me wrong, if your job in the marketplace was 30,000, you're making 60.
Yeah. And you love what you do.
You love what you do, kudos to you.
Yeah.
But if you are making only what you would make in the fair market, doing a job, but somehow you in your head, you're trying to tell yourself you're a business owner, you're not.
Yeah.
You've bought yourself a job for life.
Yeah.
And there's lots of them out there. Lots of very small businesses that just, they're just sailing through just on the line. One slight kick. Yeah, van blows up, machine, supplier loses a delivery, a recession, a jump in tax rates, any eventuality, and they do happen consistently.
Yeah.
Once a month, something happens to me where I go, oh my goodness, where did this come from?
Yeah.
But if you've got your margins, it's that. So running out of money.
Yeah. Lack of experience.
Everyone has lack of experience. I'm actually on the flip side of this because I think imposter syndrome is something we all suffer from.
Yeah.
Worrying, are we good enough? Do we know enough? Whenever you go into it, certainly a new area, but even on a day-to-day level. So I think being naive enough to think that you know enough
Yeah.
and not knowing enough. So you can start a business, and I've seen this, several people, even within our companies, where we've gone into an industry perhaps we don't know much about.
Yeah.
Could be disastrous, but we actively learn,
Yeah.
and we learn fast,
Yeah.
and we find the best bit we can. And then again, super lucky to have YouTube and Google and these search engines and data at the end of your fingertips. But
Yeah.
going into something believing you know enough and not, so therefore you're not putting the effort in.
Yeah.
Yes, if you are, a mother of two, 31, they go off to school, and you decide you are going to get into a business doing X, there's no reason you can't learn that everything you need to know in a few short weeks.
Yeah.
If you put the effort in.
Yeah. But if you think you know everything and just go into it blindly,
Yeah,
you're going to be in trouble.
absolutely. So yeah, safety net on money, planning,
Yep.
as you say. It's a good idea. Go on Google, get yourself a business plan template, start filling it out. It will certainly solidify your thinking.
Yeah.
How many hours will I need to spend on accounting?
Yeah.
What is accounting? What is the VAT threshold? How much is corporation tax?
Yeah.
There's a lot to it, but there's a lot to lots of people's job. Have you ever seen these trucks that pick up the rubbish?
No.
I appeared in one of those the other day. There's about 17,000 buttons and levers. I thought a rubbish truck would be simple.
Yeah.
A lorry. That's a complex thing.
Yeah.
But to the person doing it, it's not hard.
Yeah.
To a seasoned business person. But you do have to learn these things, otherwise you will come unstuck.
No.
Let me give you some more thought on it. Maybe we can revisit it, because I'm sure we can come up with the TED Top reasons why businesses fail and the solutions to them.
How to avoid it.
Yeah, because I think this is a big, long subject. I think we could really go deep into this and try and help some people.
No. Agreed.
Oh, cool. All right, thank you, Chris.
All right. Speak next time.
Ciao.